So you failed an exam, and now what? Before you spiral into a lot of self-doubt and start thinking that your future is completely over, please just pause. First of all, failing your exam is not the end of the world. I know this because I failed 6 exams during my first year of university. I was stressed, I was anxious, and honestly, I thought I would be getting kicked out. In fact, I was one failure away of being kicked out. But I didn't get kicked out. Instead, I passed every retake, raised my grades above 90%, and built habits that changed the rest of my academic life. And in this video, I will show you exactly how you can do that too. Oh, and what I share with you today has helped hundreds of students pass their retakes in as little as 5 weeks. So let's dive in, shall we? Let's start with step 1. You review your syllabus or your course outline. You grab a simple notebook and you go through each subject. You mark the topics that you understood really well in green. And you mark the topics you somewhat understand in yellow. You mark the topics that you didn't understand at all in red. This is what I call the traffic light method, and it gives you instant clarity. When I first did this, I realized that most of my red topics were the ones I rushed through in the end, or I ignored them completely because I just thought that they were too hard or too difficult. Once you've marked everything, you now have an overview. And this is not about judging yourself. It's about creating a roadmap and taking the next steps. If you don't know what went wrong, you also can't fix it. And the good thing is, now you know. Now, if you're already feeling lost or overwhelmed and you want a clear step-by-step plan, then check the link in the description. Next, let's talk about how you studied. And you want to be brutally honest with yourself here. So did you mostly reread your notes? Or did you highlight everything in 5 different colors? Or maybe you just watched lecture videos but never really tested yourself? Or did you only use flashcards? These are the things. If you're doing this, it's a big problem. These methods feel really productive, but they're quite passive, or they're just too surface level to make you not understand the material. They make your brain feel very busy without actually storing the information in long-term memory. Think of it like watching someone else driving a car and you expect yourself to get the license. You might understand what is happening, but you can't do it yourself until you actually practice. So if this sounds familiar to you, don't worry. In the second half of this video, I will show you exactly how to study smarter for your retakes with science-backed learning methods. Now, let's go deeper in some personal reflection here. Ask yourself these questions and answer them again, honestly. How did I show up during this semester? Did I start studying early, or did I wait until last week? Did I procrastinate because I was scared, I was tired, or maybe I was unmotivated? How did that make me feel right before and after the exams? Again, this is not here about guilt. It's about being aware, because once you start seeing the pattern, you can change it. Most students fail not because they are dumb, but because they underestimated time and they overestimate the motivation and how much they can do in a short time span. If you can admit that, you're already halfway onto fixing it. You are capable of passing. Something just held you back, and now we're going to remove that obstacle for you. It's time to build your new study plan. It's time to plan your comeback. So from today until your retakes, I want you to study almost daily or every other day. You don't wait for motivation and the last moment. You want to start building momentum right now, and also learn efficiently and effectively by spreading it out over a longer period. Here's how you can do it. Step number 1 is that you start with your red topics from the traffic light method. These are your weak points. So you spend more time here early so you can fix them before all of the stress starts to hit you. After that, you move towards your yellow topics once your confidence in the red topics has grown. And finally, you review your green topics, only for maintenance with short study sessions, just quick refreshers here. This system ensures you don't waste time repeating what you already know, and you focus on the hardest topics first. The most important thing when you are then learning is use active learning methods. Let's talk about how to actually study effectively, and here are 5 active learning methods backed by science. Number 1 is active recalling. Don't reread, but quiz yourself. Most students still think that learning means reviewing notes, rereading, highlighting, watching the same lecture twice. It feels productive, but it's actually an illusion of competence. Studies by Roediger and Karpicke at Washington University found that students who tested themselves after reading a text remembered almost 50% more a week later than the students who just reread it. This is known as the testing effect. Your brain strengthens connections every time that you retrieve information from your memory, not when you simply re-expose yourself to it. So instead of rereading, close your notes and ask yourself, what do I remember? Can I explain this without looking at it? Even if you get half of it wrong, that's the moment your brain is learning. It's signaling to yourself, hey, this is important. The second step is spaced repetition, reviewing it right before you forget it. You've probably heard the saying, don't cram the night before, and science again agrees. In over 100 years of memory research, from Ebbinghaus to modern meta-analysis, we know that spacing your study sessions over time instead of doing one long session doubles or even triples your long-term retention. A 2020 study in physics education found that students who used spaced repetition systems scored higher on final exams and still remembered the material months later, while the crammers forgot most of it after a few weeks. Here's why. Every time that you revisit a topic as you're about to forget it, your brain says, oh, actually, this is important. I'll need to keep it. And that's how long-term memory is being built. You can use apps like Anki or Quizlet or a simple notebook calendar to schedule your reviews 1 day later, 3 days later, 7 days later, 14 days later, for example. Step number 3 is my absolute favorite. It's practice exams. Train the way that you will perform. And this one is simple, but so powerful. Doing practice exams is not about checking if you're ready. It's actually one of the most effective learning tools out there. A 2023 review titled Testing Improves Performance as well as Assesses Learning found that students who regularly practiced exam questions performed significantly better than those who only reviewed notes. Again, the testing effect. Another study from physical review education research showed that students who did realistic mock exams early in the semester scored higher on real exams and had lower stress before the test day. Now, why is that? Because your brain learns under the same conditions that you'll be tested in. Time pressure, recall, problem solving. So by simulating that environment, you're training your recall and your confidence. Step number 4 is called interleaving, meaning mixing your topics. Here's another science trick that feels weird at first. You don't study one topic for hours straight. You mix things up. If you're studying biology, alternate between genetics, anatomy, and physiology. If you're in engineering, switch between formulas and real-world application questions. Researchers call this interleaving, and it helps your brain spot patterns and differences between the concepts. Studies in math education show that students who practiced mixed problem sets remembered 43% more when tested later than those who studied in one topic blocks. The key idea is mixing topics forces your brain to think rather than to just repeat. So it's a workout for your memory and for your problem solving skills. Number 5 is the Feynman technique. Teach it simply. Named after Nobel Prize winner Richard Feynman, this method turns you into your own teacher. And here's how it works. Fairly simple. You pick a topic and you explain it out loud as if you are teaching a 12-year-old. And when you get stuck, then go back to your notes. Simplify it again until you can explain it in very clear, easy words. This method works because of a concept called elaborative retrieval. You're not just recalling facts. You're organizing them, connecting them, and you're identifying knowledge gaps. A recent study published on ResearchGate found that students who applied the Feynman technique scored significantly higher on comprehension tests than those who only summarized their notes. So when you teach, you see what you don't know, and that's how you grow. So use these methods in increasing intervals. For example, study one topic today, again in 3 days, and then a week later, and switch between the methods that I just shared with you, not just flashcards. That's how your brain truly learns. Now, the final 2-week strategy: 2 weeks before your retakes, stop learning new stuff. You should have covered everything by now. From this point on, it's all about the practice. Do the mock exams under timed conditions. And you can use ChatGPT to generate potential exam questions for you. For example, this is a ChatGPT prompt that my students use to simulate exam questions and get the highest grades on each exam. The prompt is simple: create 10 practice questions for me. 2 on memorization, 2 on understanding, 2 on applying, 2 on analyzing, and 2 on evaluating. The topic I want you to test me on is XYZ. That's where you insert your topic. Then answer these questions without looking at your notes. The questions will increase in difficulty, allowing you to figure out where your knowledge gaps are. And this trains your recall, reduces exam anxiety, and it simulates real conditions. Now, if you failed before, again, this doesn't define you. It's an opportunity to get better. Every top student that I've coached had moments where they fell flat before they got actually better. So don't run from this. Use it as the start of a comeback or a personal development. And if you're ready for guidance, if you want to overcome procrastination, rebuild your confidence, and have a guaranteed strategy to pass your retakes, then book a free study strategy call through the link in my description. I'll help you build a plan that fits your life and your goals, not just your exams.